What's up, people? Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Cup Chasers podcast. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Philly Foden has absolutely wrecked Manchester United at the empty hat in front of all 7 of their fans. It was a smashing victory for the Blues. Not so much for the Chelsea Blues. Another stumble, another way to look at Poch and say, what are you doing, man? And of course, the Arsenal.
We're going to have a discussion.
Oh, yeah. And of course, the Arsenal absolutely demolished the Blades. Yes, we were supposed to, but they were pathetic. And it's a third 5+ goals in an away performance. I do believe that is a Premier League record.
Yeah, you set a record. Yeah,
absolutely. Out here breaking records, scoring lots of goals, and I'm absolutely pumped. So let's go ahead and get at least 31 likes. Absolutely boo, Man U.
Let's go.
That's how we're feeling. Absolutely how we started out. But let's get the likes up for 31 likes at least for 31 Arsenal goals. And let's subscribe to the channel if we're new. Thanks for being here. We are on our way to 200 subscribers. And if you're enjoying the content, get the little notification bell on. All right, only place to start.
Well, first off, hold on. I have to give my props to the U.S. women's national team. They totally looked different yesterday. Good on them. 3-0 against Colombia. Was not expecting it. So, all right, there you go.
It absolutely is, Kate Jackson. It's a good week for the U.S. women's national team, bouncing back from the Mexico game and getting a good one versus Colombia. Absolutely. But Lewis, big win, expected win, but also very interesting game. What you telling me?
I mean, I'm gonna get on your nerves because nothing is expected. I told you before we played this, it's a derby, and if you were in, like X was talking about when he went to go watch the Chelsea game at with Chelsea supporters, everybody was like, yeah, we want to win, we think we'll win, but you could feel the nerves, man. It's a derby, man. Like, I mean, they scored first, even though you all have never seen me like watch a game. But like I literally am like dead the whole game. Somebody got a picture of me. It was kind of funny. Like I was dead faced the whole game because like I don't react to stuff like that. But I saw the goal and I was like, man, I was like, that's a hell of a goal. Like it was, I mean, literally now, and it's funny because in my brain, I'm like, if he took an extra touch or did what he normally does, he doesn't score that. Nope. Which is what he did like the next 2 or 3 times he got like a breakaway. He just didn't know how to touch the ball. But he literally just went with instincts and just flung it. And I was like, geez, man.
I heard a stat that said that was the like hit the hardest in Premier League history. Like it was the strongest shot in Premier League history. I don't know if that's true. I heard it on YouTube. So obviously it has to be true if it's on YouTube.
It's on the internet. So of course it's true.
Well, Bruno gave him some great service. I mean, Diaz had some trash defending, but yeah, man, he hit it solid. I mean, crossbar challenge all day, right? And the goal was the goal. But the funny thing was, nobody in the City team looked affected by it. Like no. Sometimes you see where people are like, "Oh man," and there's the sadness or whatever. They just looked at it and it was like, okay. And then they just kept playing. And, Pep made a comment that the first half, they played better in the first half than the second. They took a bunch of shots in the first half.
18.
Bunch of shots in the first half. Like, they were gunned. Like, they was hitting defenders in the face. And because they did hit one. And he was down.
Yep.
Yeah, they hit man.
He was down for a second. Yep.
You literally saw, they were like, something's going in there. And
oh, yeah.
And the thing about it is that one thing that I'm not critical. I think when we talked about the lineups, I was like, I don't know if Doku should start because I think I said Bernardo and Foden out wide or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then basically when Alvarez came on is when City went off because it put the 2 guys out wide where they're supposed to be. Because and I text you all in the chat. Doku's really predictable now. I mean,
very predictable.
He was electric when he started, but he's really predictable. For example, if I'm a defender and they play it long to him and he has space to run on, he's going to stop it. He does it every time. He stops the ball, he pulls it back, and then he's kind of holding it up, but he's not because he has a 1v1. So, I mean, I prefer you attack the box and make him do work.
Well, how many times did he attack Gusto in the? That's what Doku does, and everyone seems to have figured that out. That's what I mean. How many times did he go at Gusto in the Chelsea game?
9.
A ton.
9.
It was just over and over and over again. And in that first half, it felt kind of stale, but you kept going to it.
Well, he reminds me of Juan Cuadrado when he played for Chelsea. It was literally the same move every single time he got the ball. And it just got to the point where teams just didn't even like play him. Like they're like, oh, he's going to run down the edge.
If you were watching the game, you see they left him open the whole game. They let him pass the ball.
He had acres of space at times.
As soon as Alvarez came on and they moved Bernardo and Foden up on the wings, destroyed everything they did. And then Foden cooked them.
On both wings. He got him on both wings.
Well, Foden, but the thing is, it's funny. And, you know, the Pep praise is very interesting because Foden is literally playing how Pep allows De Bruyne to play.
Yeah.
He's letting him do the exact same thing. He's just floating all over the park. Doesn't even matter. De Bruyne does the same thing, which is really scary because if he gets good as him.
I think they're different players. I think Foden's fantastic.
Well, I'm not saying they're playing the same. I'm saying get as good as him because, like, for example, Foden's more of a scorer than De Bruyne is.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
And so, but De Bruyne's vision and touch on the ball is stupid.
Yeah.
And that's where they kind of went off because, like, De Bruyne's brain is from football experience. Foden doesn't have that, so that's why he doesn't make those passes. He doesn't necessarily know how to weight it. But you get him in open space and he's hungry, he's on it. He's on it.
Right.
He doesn't have like that. And he actually does a funny thing. Like you all, if you see De Bruyne run, when he starts to make those long stride runs, you're just like, he's going for it.
Rut row.
Foden has a similar run. If you watch him, he does something similar that De Bruyne does when he gets close to the box, which is really funny. He does this weird stretch before he does anything. And I mean, well, if I see it, hopefully I'm guessing defenders see it too. But you know, I was satisfied with the game. I mean, you know, the thing is that I made a comment about the 8 minutes because I really didn't see I mean, it was just like if I'm like, don't they want the game to be over? Because City could have scored more. So I'm like, why would you give 8 minutes? I don't know where that came from. It was like whatever. I'm happy with the result. Copenhagen's come to City. So on to Champions League.
I give officials a lot of hell on here, but I thought that was this Madley? I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah, he was good.
I thought he had a good game.
Absolutely fantastic. I think he got every call right. Which is not something I usually would say about most of the officials in the EPL, and we'll discuss that too.
I don't know if I've ever heard you say he got every call right. I don't know if I've ever heard you say those words.
I thought he was fantastic. Like I watched this because I'm like, okay, does he give into the Derby side of things? Does he let it get out of control? Game was controlled well. There wasn't anything that I was like, that should have been a card. I thought that he gave a lot of leniency actually, because I thought Lindelof was close to getting a card. He was like, he kept doing the same foul, and sometimes you see an official go like 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do that. He didn't hold it against him because honestly, it wasn't like he was really stopping much because of the way City were attacking United. It was kind of like delaying the inevitable.
I thought it was interesting when Ten Hag in his conference said he made a comment about Ederson's tackle, which he cleared the ball.
It was a beautiful tackle,
and studs were down. So I'm like, well, what does he want?
It's a fantastic challenge.
And then the attacking, it was Garnacho, I think he dragged his trailing leg on purpose. Mm-hmm. Like you could see he dragged it so he would fall. And I'm like, well, that's nothing. And then the Walker and Rashford challenge, that was It was like there was.
It was a
That's
gust
where
of
United
wind.
lost the game.
Rashford,
That is
you could see he went down early, and the ref was like, "Huh."
that is where, in my opinion, Manchester United lost this game. Excuse me, pardon me. That is where Marcus Rashford lost the game for his team. In my opinion, and come for me if you want. And I've already made Brian mad because I made a comment about Marcus Rashford, and it was less than savory. It was less than complimentary. We'll put it that way. I'm not going to repeat what I said here. This right here is a lot nicer than what I said about Marcus Rashford. But if he doesn't go down there,
He could keep running on the ball.
if he doesn't go down there, he can keep running on the ball. You're right, Lewis. And what's the worst case scenario if he doesn't go down there is he's 1v1 with Walker, 15 yards from goal. That is worst case scenario if you don't go down there. Okay? Do you not back yourself in a 1v1 situation? Plus, Kyle Walker. You know him personally. You've played together for England numerous times. So you know his mannerisms. You should know how to beat him, how you would want to take him on.
He was trying to cheat the game, man.
So instead of doing what you get paid to do and play in the game, instead of doing what you're overhyped to do and beat a man and score goals, which is what you get paid ridiculous amounts of money to do, you flop and go down like a sack of hammers, like the wind has blown across your eyebrow. This is an epidemic in this game. When men feel, these grown men, by the way, grown men feel a fingernail on their shoulder, they go down like they've been shot. Yes, yeah. I actually made that a similar comment to my buddy Brian. He didn't like that.
Well, here's the thing, though. So, for some reason, and where I have a problem with it is again, consistency. So you see a guy go down that easily, and you don't call anything. You don't call simulation. You don't call anything. But then you see what happened to what Conor Gallagher got a yellow card for, which was simulation. Again, no issue with it. All I want is consistency. If a guy goes down in the box or goes down, with a little tug or whatnot, you're trying to bait the ref into a foul. That's simulation. All the time. It's simulation. So why is it that certain people get yellow cards and then others it's just like, whatever?
Well, while I agree with that in theory,
the ref was pretty far away from this one, though. It's hard to be certain that he was on TV. It's easy to say yes, right, that's simulation, but for the ref, the distance, tough to say.
Well, in addition to that, I would just say this: I 100% agree with you about the consistency point, Patrick. But unless this referee was the one who refereed and didn't do it before, I would ask for consistency from the referee. Like, I need the referee to can be consistent every game. So, for example, if this referee always calls that, I need you to call that every time. Like, I don't need you to make up something else or anything like that. You call it every time, because at least then, as a manager or as a player, you know what you're going to get. But if this referee is calling it this way for this team and that way for that team, then I have an issue with that, especially if you do it.
Paul Tyranny.
Look, man. Look, man. So
yeah, he was. We know what badge he was wearing on Saturday.
So I agree with you on the premise that we want consistency from the referee. Like, hey, referee, you be the same all the time, because I can't really ask different referees to referee like a different one.
I agree.
The only reason I'm saying that is because I had the opportunity to officiate several different sports, and I was consistent. Like I would only call if somebody was rough. Like, I mean, outside of fighting, I'm letting you play because you're supposed to play. Yeah. I mean, don't expect me to bail you out. But I was consistent.
You didn't try to affect the game. You let the game go the way it needed to be played, and it's not like you're trying to determine the outcome. It feels at times that officials, especially in the EP or the Premier League, are trying to affect the outcome. And that's when I get upset about officiating. And that's why I liked, I know I was complaining about the whole Rashford thing, but that's why I like Madley. I thought that he was not trying to actually affect the outcome of the game. He was letting the game play. And if there was anything where it was like, because I don't think the first free kick came from a foul until like the 27th minute.
I was actually about to make that point. It was a very clean game, and the commentators were talking about it in the 29th minute. They're like, in fact, I don't even remember a foul, and then Lindelof fouls somebody, and he's like, curse to the commentator. And but I agree completely. The referee had a good game in this particular instance. The only, he just probably wasn't close enough to realize that it was simulation, but he definitely knew that it was not even close to enough contact. And not only does Rashford go down.
Was the linesman facing him? I think he was facing him, right?
Yeah, but the lineman's also 70 yards away because it was kind of on the left side of the field, right? And the lineman is on the right hand.
That's what I was saying. If he was on that side. That's what I was asking. If he was on this, he was on the opposite side.
He was on the opposite side, so he was pretty far away too. But even with you thought it was a foul, Rashford. You thought it was a foul. Okay, you go down. Okay, maybe you get last man back, red card, sending off. Okay, maybe that's what went through his mind. Okay, sure. Let's just pretend that I'm okay with that. In the very next thing he does is very Bruno Fernandes-esque. Rolling around, hands in the air, moaning, lays back on the ground after he's sat up and looking around, all these histrionics. Meanwhile, Lindelof, the greatest left back the world's ever seen, is 1v1 with Phil Foden, who is on an absolute tear at the moment, lauded as the best Premier League player at the moment by his coach, and you're just letting him attack? Not only did Rashford do the whole with his arms waving around, but he also jogged very slowly and watched as Foden equaled his goal.
And it was
great. My God. Great job, Rashford. You scored an absolute banger. Hats off to you. Fantastic goal. You did absolutely nothing else. He was he was a hindrance for the rest of the game to his team. He was a hindrance. And for me, both in the fact that you guys equalized immediately afterwards and the mentality that shows from your star man, from your talisman. Don't question his commitment. Don't question his abilities. Don't question his, fight for the team. Proof's in the pudding, man. Proof is right there in front of us, dude. And you're out here giving interviews. Stop giving interviews. And maybe work a little bit harder, and you won't have to be giving these interviews. Maybe work a little bit harder for your teammates. Just saying. Because Rashford left Lindelof out to dry, and Foden spun him like a top. Just saying. Rashford lost City the game, or United the game in that moment. Their mentality, you guys said it earlier. Patrick, you said it earlier. They never looked like coming back. They never looked like doing anything at 1-1, at 2-1. They never looked like coming back. That moment shattered the mentality. That moment shattered the whole thing. Games turn on moments. For a bit there, I was like, okay, maybe. Haaland has just missed the craziest sitter we've ever seen Haaland miss. Maybe. Just maybe, United have sort of defended well for a while. They've limited City to these shots from outside the box. Yes, there was a whole ton of them. But it was, it was one of those things where we've seen recently that City kind of are just getting it over the line a little bit, but then they brought it at Luton and they brought it today. They brought it for the Manchester derby. But we've also seen that United are eking out wins. We're just getting over the line. So it's like, okay, somebody, there's a chance. So you're saying there's a chance, and then Rashford goes and does that. I was so mad at Liverpool. I was so mad on Saturday because of the Liverpool BS. And then this made me I've been bitter until about 3:00 today. I was bitter about all the games. And then Arsenal saved me.
Again, you have to go into every City game expecting them to win.
I do.
So that when they don't, you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Look at the crest on my hat.
Now hold on.
Look at the crest behind me. I am delusional. I'm always
we're not on the predictions, but I don't know if Jake wants City to win, City to lose the next one.
No, I don't want you to lose the next. I want to draw. If Arsenal beat Brentford and Man City and Liverpool draw, Arsenal will be on top of the table by goal difference, and it will be at least 7. It'll be at least 7 goals if we beat Brentford. And y'all draw.
So just return to the City thing for a second. So Haaland still is off it. I don't care what hat tricks and stuff he had in other games. He's still not there. Because, like, for example, the one that he missed time his jump. He looked like he didn't know what to do with it because he caught it too high.
Why didn't he just do a diving header?
Or just chested it? It would have hit him in his chest.
Wow. Just let it hit you in the face, yeah.
It was going to hit him right here. Like, all he had to do was let it hit him. But then somebody made a point. They said if he didn't do that, the defender comes to mark him out. So I don't know. So, I mean, he did what he needed to do. De Bruyne was super quiet in this game.
Yeah, a little sloppy, a little bit.
He was super quiet, but I think it's just that. I think it's the build up. I expect him to be on the bench in the next one or to play very short amount of time in the Champions League game.
No reason to play in the Champions League.
I mean, I would give him a run out just so he stays sharp. Unless he has him where he can just sit him out.
I mean, you've already done 3-1.
Yeah. Ake is my guy. Got to give props to Ake. He's my guy. That guy is super consistent.
I think he's the most underrated players.
But is he? I've heard that a bunch. But is he the most underrated if Pep picks him all the time? I mean, I guess.
Well, not by Pep. Not by Pep. Not by Pep.
He's underrated by others.
I'm just talking about by rival fans and fan groups.
Hey man, that's cool.
When you talk about City, your mind immediately is Haaland, De Bruyne, Silva, Foden.
Good.
Rodri, Ederson, Ruben Diaz, John Stones. Like, how many names are coming to mind before Nathan Ake? But he's like the most consistent. He hardly puts a foot wrong. He pops up randomly with goals. Trust me, I know.
I mean, he hit his face too, and that one too. Y'all got one off of him.
Yeah, well, he knocked us out of the FA Cup last season, the bum, and I was not happy about it. So as much as it's one of those things with City players, like, I really don't like any of them, but I'm a huge Silva fan. I'm an Ake fan. In spite of myself, I like Rodri. I think he can be a bit nasty sometimes, but he's an absolute baller. They all play for the wrong team.
I look at the City team, and I think this is always interesting because nobody individually before they started playing together in this group was like, hey, these guys are the best at their position. Nobody was saying Foden was going to be better than anybody. Nobody said De Bruyne was going to be better than nobody. But now all of a sudden when they play together, oh, they have a cheat code squad. No, they know how to play together as a team.
You have a cheat code manager.
Yeah, that plays a huge role. I will say this, though. Jose Mourinho said that Chelsea should never sell Nathan Ake because he was going to be a star. And, well, we totally neglected that.
Well done. But the biggest thing about that is that does he get the growth there that he has in City? I'm going to say no. So he may never turn into the star because you have he plays left back and he plays center back, right?
Yeah, he's playing left back for us.
But what I'm saying is that was he going to be fostered by a manager like that? You guys have had 17 managers since he's been at City. So I mean, I mean, how do you get any consistency in any player's development if the same person's not there? It doesn't happen.
We can go down this road, but I won't do it during the city segment.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
I get that. No. I get that. What I'm saying though is like there are people who notice his talent at a young age that know what they're talking about. So, you know, it was it's frustrating to it's really weird. Like, I'm happy for him because he is a talent. It's frustrating to see because he should be playing left back for us right now.
You know, I agree, but I'm gonna disagree on this one because if Jose saw that and he believed in it, then Jose would have done what was necessary to stay in place too. Because I like Jose, but I mean, when we hear managers say, "Hey, this person's gonna be talented," either have him come with you because he's taking Lukaku every freaking where he's going, or you try to stay in place where you are. And for him,
well, I mean, he's not going to be able to stay in place at Chelsea, but just in general, no one stays in place at Chelsea.
Well, and during the Roman era, yes, but I look at it and I say, well, Jose made exits for himself when he knew he didn't vibe with the people. But if he saw his talent and you want to help grow that talent, then because it's like this, right? Say, for example, I'm a teacher and I have the opportunity to teach you your entire schooling. Do I willingly send you to somebody else who may stunt your growth, or do I stay around you to help you reach that potential? Because I don't know.
I want to say he was sold right after Jose was let go.
Yeah,
I may be wrong on that. I'll look. But I want to say, yeah.
But even then, so when Jose was in different teams, why not buy him, right? Why not buy De Bruyne and all these other?
Y'all bought him.
Well, he was at Wolfsburg for 3 years.
No, I'm talking about Ake. But yeah, I agree.
Ake went to Bournemouth.
He was at Bournemouth for
Y'all sold him to Bournemouth.
Yeah, he can't. We see
on a transfer. I mean, on a loan.
No.
Ake was at Bournemouth for like 3 seasons.
Yeah, man. So all those people, I hear you, and I mean, clearly Pep saw what Jose saw, and that's fine. Just like Pep saw what De Bruyne saw. But here's my thing. Because there's a lot of rumors about City. Just quick thing for the future that like the Paqueta things looks like they're gonna go after him. And also,
really?
What's the kid at Bayern?
Kimmich?
No, not Kimmich.
Musiala.
Yeah, Musiala.
No, don't. Oh my God, that's disgusting.
The rumors of Musiala is not accepting any offers. He wants to go to City.
That's another Chelsea guy.
So
don't do it, man. Don't. Yo, gross. That's gross.
Stop being a hater, dude. Stop being a hater.
Look at the badge on my hat and behind me. Why would I want City to get even better? Did you see Jamal? Dude, I watched Bayern and Freiburg on Friday. Yes, that's right. I'm a football man. I watched Bayern and Freiburg on Friday just to hate on Kane. Just to hate along, right? Jamal Musiala, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, Jamal Musiala absolutely bamboozled 4 Freiburg defenders in the space of 5 yards, all in like a 5-yard space, and then just rips it into the corner. No problem. Thank you very much. And dude, y'all don't need that.
Well, but Paul,
you don't need more.
Here's why the hating doesn't make sense, right? I get it, but I'm gonna disagree with you hating. So Bernardo Silva has a release clause in his contract now, which, I mean, the rumor every year is he's going. So that means you have to plan for him to go, right? So you got to replace him. And then De Bruyne is obviously getting up there where you don't want him to play every match. So you got to have someone there. You don't know what Nunez is going to do, so we don't know how long he's going to be there. And you got to have support because City likes to play 60, 80 games in a year. So, I mean, the people talk about City squad depth, but when injuries came, we were playing the same 11 people because we didn't have no depth. So you actually need to have that. And if you start instilling that, because Pep is not going to be there forever, you need to have guys who know how to do the system. So when the guy's not there, the players know how to do it. So this is smart to me. If you start getting guys who know what to do within what you do.
Yeah, I agree. I think Musiala and Paqueta would be a huge upgrade on Nunez and Kovacic. So yeah, I think that's objectively it's fantastic business. I just don't want to see it, I just don't want to see City get even stronger. As poor as
everybody else is getting stronger, right? Arsenal's better.
well, yeah. Well, I want to win. Like every game,
So
every season,
every game, every season.
every game, every season.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But I'm good with the Derby result. That's where I'll leave that. I'm good with the Derby result.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was definitely a good game. Again, it was the hate along, so I can't say that I enjoyed it too much. Rashford kind of
As a funny
ticked me
side
off.
note, I was watching it with City fans, and right before Foden scored, a guy standing next to me was like, "Man, they got to take Foden off." And I looked at him. I was like, "What?" And then Foden literally did what he did, and then he was the first one to cheer. I'm like, "Dude, we not watching the same football, man. We just not even watching the same football."
Like,
Yeah.
Foden was the only bright spot when y'all were down.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, but United are a shambles, man. They folded like a lawn chair. And I think that as much crap as I give Enzo about, being bought and hyped because of the World Cup, Sofyan Amrabat, I don't know how to say his first name, but Amrabat has been terrible for United.
Did you hear that his parent club is like, "Hey, man, you're making his value go down"? There was like they made the story about that. It was like, "Hey,
Was it
Galatasaray
Galatasaray or was it?
He played for Fiorentina last season.
Okay.
I don't know if that's who
I thought
has
it was
his contract.
I think that's his
Maybe
parent
no.
contract, yeah.
I don't know who has his parent contract. I know that's where he played last season was at Fiorentina. But he was benefited in the transfer window because Morocco did a madness at the World Cup, and he was a part of that Morocco team. And I think too many people in the market got too gassed about the World Cup performances, and Amrabat comes in and is just a straight up liability. Like he was on for like 4 minutes before he gave the third goal away. Just gives it to Foden. Thanks very much.
He's still a Fiorentina, my bad.
Yeah.
How are you going to give the ball away to Foden in the form he's in, 20 yards from goal, with Haaland literally behind you in space by himself?
I don't know.
Well done.
I don't
know. As much as objectively I'm like, this is atrocious stuff. And what United am I watching? They're a shade of the one I remember watching back in the day. I hope Ten Hag stays. Long may it continue. As an Arsenal fan, long may it continue. Absolutely. But yeah, speaking of the Arsenal, we had a nice stroll at the lane today, as the commentator put it.
First question.
Yes.
Did Partey make it back to the coach without injury?
I can't speak to that. I'm not sure if he stubbed his toe after the game. He made it through the game.
I mean, he played.
He played for 20 minutes.
Yeah, man.
10 of which were pretty bad. Rusty. He looked really rusty. Yeah. His first 3 times the ball came to him, he looked rushed and he kind of gave it away. The third time wasn't his fault. It was a horrific pass. But yeah, I think that it was very good to see Partey come into the game. Very good to see that after he settled down a little bit, he looked good in the last 10 minutes. And I'm not holding my breath. I don't got my fingers crossed. I don't have hopes up. If Partey doesn't play another minute this season, it won't surprise me even a little bit. But if dude can stay fit for the run-in, that's flipping massive. That's so huge. So huge. Because once again, today we've played with Jorginho in the 6 and Rice pushed farther forward. Which, if you recall from the last pod, I said it wasn't my favorite.
Yeah, we talked, but I thought it was a good idea.
Well, today, yes. There was no real fear or danger of Jorginho getting caught in transition.
Yeah.
That's just not the way Sheffield play. So we weren't worried about that. And I thought Jorginho had a good game. quiet, did his job. Don't have to mention him. Won the second balls, dictated play, progressed well. One of those performances where, fantastic. Don't even have to say anything. He was great. Just like Declan Rice. Declan Rice put in another fantastic performance. Don't even have to really, as expected. And I think he's enjoying that role of being farther forward. And I like him for farther forward as well. If Partey can stay fit and play the 6 and let Rice go forward, which is probably what was intended. I really don't think he intended to play Partey at right back. That nonsense at the beginning of the season was because Zinchenko was injured.
He's going to invert him and he'll be stones.
Well, he didn't trust Ben White to invert at that moment at the beginning of the season. That was what that was for. But I hope to never see that again. Ben White's had his experience and is a little bit more comfortable with the inverting. And even Cedric, when Cedric came on, was doing the inverting thing from the right-hand side as well. So, all in all, it's a perfect day, really. Martinelli limped off, but, other than that, and the only other complaint I really have is there's a touch of complacency. Kivior had some kind of wayward touches, but he also settled down and looked good. Another man of the match from Odegaard, 3 minutes in. Okay, 3 minutes in, we scored the first goal, but we had already had a shot on goal and hit the bar by that point. Odegaard and Saka were fantastic. Saka only played the first half.
Kill my fantasy team.
And still, I mean,
he got an assist.
He got an assist. He should have had credit for the goal, but it was an own goal, so he doesn't get. You should get if you took the shot and it ricochets into the net to go in as an own goal. You should at least get an assist.
Yeah.
For those fantasy points out there, right, Patrick?
Exactly. Come on now. I need all the help.
But Sheffield got absolutely decimated right from the rip due to the fact that their spacing from their left-sided center back to their left back when they were camped on top of the box was far too open. So anytime Saka had the ball out wide, they would double team him. Smart. And then Odegaard would take up his customary position at the top of the box, kind of where the corner is, right? You've seen it a million times. And Saka would play him the ball. And the midfielder would pinch, right? But there'd be so much space in between the left center back and the two guys marking Saka that either Ben White overlapped into that space or Saka did the give and go and immediately ran after playing the ball into that space. And Odegaard was just pass. Jorginho, little chip. Odegaard, little pass around the corner. Give the ball to Saka. Ben White overlaps, so we get it out. We just wrecked them down the right-hand side, and they refused to push over. Like, how many times have we said this season, if you give Odegaard space, he's going to rip you to shreds. And that's what happened today. Even Kai Havertz, man. I think that when he's up top, he is a lot more comfortable. And if you look at the beginning of the season, if you go and look at him over time, he's improved steadily. A little bit at a time. And I think now that we don't play him in the left side at 8, and he plays up top, he's a lot more comfortable. And you can see that his confidence is growing. Took his goal well, got another assist. Not for nothing, but he's already equaled Xhaka's GA total. I know he has 7 goals, and I know he got another assist today. So he might be right there, having tied Xhaka's performance last season as far as output goes already. Which, yes, we want a $65 million man to be scoring, more to be doing more on the output side of things. But yeah, looks confident, took his goal well, played well, pressed well. I was happy with it. Can't complain. It's one of the first times I've been able to say that. Second time, maybe third time. I don't know. Yeah, he was decent. And, like I say, all in all, good day. Trossard come on. Vieira actually came on and did things. he actually came in for Saka. It was weird to see him out on the right-hand side. But, yeah. Like I say, yeah, man. Jesus got some minutes. So we're firing on all cylinders at the right time. We're, heating up at the right time, getting people back healthy at the right time. And, yeah, we look forward to Brentford. Like I said earlier, if we beat Brentford and City and Pool draw, we will be on top of the pile. But here's the thing. The reason I'm not getting too excited as yet. Yes, if we beat Brentford, that's 8 in a row in the league. If we do not progress in the Champions League, if we do not beat Porto in the Champions League second leg at home at the Emirates, our season is finished.
Man, shut up, man. You're going to beat Porto.
I hope so.
The same conversation again?
I hope so. I hope you're right. And by all accounts, by all measurements, on paper, on form, yeah, I expect a 4-0. I expect us to batter them. But I'm telling you right now, if we do not beat them and we go out of the Champions League and then we sit on that and we hold that, as they say in England, for 2.5 weeks and then have to go to the Etihad, stewing in that for 2.5 weeks, we will lose. And the season's derailed. And we will not win the title. If we do not beat Porto on Tuesday, a week from tomorrow, 8 wins on the bounce means absolutely nothing. It means absolutely nothing. I'm telling you right now. But if we smash Porto, like I expect and hope, that I'm bringing lots of chest to that preview before the City game. I'm telling you right now. If we smash Porto like we should and we beat Brentford, especially if Arsenal are on top of the table going into that game, oh yeah, I'm bringing lots of chest, as they say. But I do believe that our season hinges on this Porto game.
I don't think so, but okay.
You don't think it'll be ridiculously damaging if we go out of the Champions League?
I just think I can understand if it was the last game or the championship game. I struggle to have one game be the end all be all.
What do you mean? We'll be out of the tournament. We'll be out.
Yeah, but you said the season would be over.
Yeah.
The whole season.
Yes. We will not win if we do not beat Porto, we will not win the league. Period.
See, that's where I understand.
What have we exhibited? It's right here, man.
Listen. I understand the sentiment. It's just that's not how I work. So, I get what you're saying, but for me that I wouldn't say it. But it's your team. You support them how you support them. I'm gonna respect that.
No, I support them, and I do believe we can beat Porto, but the way we've crumbled in the past, 2 seasons running now, if we suffer a shock like that, a shock to the system, and then have to think about it for 2.5 weeks.
Well, but see, here's why again. So like for example here, right? I think you should win the game. I mean, I don't count for anybody outside of myself. I count to me. But you already played them, and so it won't necessarily be like a shock because they've shown that they're Champions League tested and your team is young, right? So while I'm not making an excuse for you, the shock to the system thing I get from the fan perspective, but at the same time, it's I just feel like you still would have a season to play for.
Well, I mean, it's still there to play for. Of course.
That's the sentiment I'm saying. I get where you're coming from.
He's right. It's a mental thing. Like, it starts to snowball on you because you're we had a favorable draw. I mean, let's be honest, it's a very favorable draw.
But it's not favorable because when we talked about it before, I gave you the stats and nothing about on it from the eyeballs, but paper didn't show that. It showed Porto was tough at home, and Porto was tough at home. That's what it showed.
I mean, sure, but
so
no shots on goal, right? No shots on goal. You lose 1-0. It was at the death, but you still lost 1-0.
And Porto was tough at home. It was exactly what they thought it would be.
But the point I'm making is the one thing that Arsenal have not proven, the one hurdle, the only one that we have not proven capable of getting over is the mental game. Is the mental side of things.
So I agree with you, but I think you can't get over it until you get over it. So you gonna keep getting hit in the face until one day you do it. Like, at some point, getting hit in the face, you're gonna react differently. So I just think, if, say for example, the result is an unfavorable one for you in the Champions League, I doubt it, but say it is that. I still think that's enough where if your manager and the players, because it's not just the manager, and the players are like, you know what, we gotta go win this league, but we're not gonna look at the end. We're gonna go one game at a time. I don't see why not. Your club's history shows that you can come and fight the big boys and win. So that's where I just feel like the season wouldn't be over for you, because I just don't. I haven't seen you quit this year. This is not last year's team. Last year's team would look like it was too much for them. I think this year's guys have shown that while they're not perfect and they've had stumbles along the way, they found a way to be consistent in the league. And this is why I don't think your season would be over.
I think that just comparing last year to this year, I think there's something to be said about being the chasers instead of being the chasee. And so when you're the chasers, you can be a little bit more aggressive.
Yes.
You can play with more confidence because you're like, well, if we don't chase them down, they were just better than us.
Like, F it, right? F it. What do we have to lose?
Exactly. But I think that there's something to it mentally too, where if you don't advance, you start to question, oh no, we're going back to where we were last year.
Yeah, but the Champions League is not the same thing, man. Like, I can understand, like, this is their first year back in it. And so to expect you're just going to walk it, even if it's Porto, to just walk it seems crazy. But if this was their second year, if they ran a season like they did last year in the league and in the Champions League, where they ran it all the way up to the end, then I could understand that. But this is their first year back. But
they've also had a quite favorable draw the whole time.
You say that, Lewis. You say that. You say this is the first year back. This is our first year back. We have not been through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League in 15 years.
And City never won the Champions League before, and people swore they couldn't win it. It don't happen until it happens, man.
No, I hear that, but I'm talking about what what a loss going out would do to our mental state. And then we have to go play at the Etihad in arguably the most hostile game. It's definitely the most hostile game where we have left. You know, maybe not as much as 3 Point Lane and Old Trafford, just because of the rivalries. Just because of the rivalries.
You almost overlooked them, man. You almost overlooked them.
Just because of they are rivalries. But as far as the atmosphere and the noise, the Etihad is the Premier League's big bad. And if we go there in a fragile state of mind, we could get blasted. We could we could stare down another 4-1. This is the trauma and the PTSD I have. So when we have not proven that we can get over mental hurdles, when we have not proven that we can get over the line and we can handle being punched in the mouth by Poole and then dropping to West Ham and then dropping to Southampton, which is what we did last season. If we haven't proven that we can do that yet. And so why would I just assume that if we get slapped in the mouth, get punched in the face and knocked out of the tournament, why would I just assume that they're going to be able to rally and then face the toughest test in the remaining in the season with flying colors? Like why would I expect after looking at everything? And this is, it's not this season, but it is Arteta. It is what Arteta hasn't done for us yet. And I know we talked about it last time. And I think he can get us over the line. I think he can. He has the potential. He has the potential to win the Champions League. He has the potential to win the league. He does. Am I super confident that he's going to do it this season? No.
So, well, here's where, and again, I respect what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. But I mean, we can go back to the narratives of Man City and where Pep was wondering if he could. People were wondering for every year except up until he won it last year. Hey, he tinkers. Is he going to be able to do it? They thought it was finished for him. This is a guy who's won, right? So, and I think you've answered this question. So I got to ask the question because I don't know the answer, and I think you've asked it. If say you win at Porto, right, convincingly, and you make a crazy run in the Champions League, and I don't mean crazy, but I mean like a solid one where people's like, yo, it's undeniable, this is yours. And you win the Champions League but don't win the league, would you be satisfied?
Yes, of course.
So it's the opposite. Let me go the opposite way now. So you lose the Champions League game, and then you make a hellified run in the league. Would you be fine with winning the league and not the Champions League?
Yes.
I mean, it's a win-win either way in both scenarios.
But in both scenarios, you've accepted that you've lost on one of them, and that's fine.
Yes.
So that's where my mentality is coming from. That's all I'm saying.
It's still unacceptable to go out to Porto. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. I don't care if it's our first. I don't care if it's our first year back. We spent 16 straight seasons in the knockout stages of the Champions League.
And Porto's won the thing.
I don't care what they did.
That's I get what you're saying because you're using like modern whatever. But Porto's won the thing before, man. So
I hear you. I hear that.
So if we're gonna go with the histrionics, then it's kind of a little uppity for you to say it's disrespectful to lose to a team that's won it.
I hear that. I hear what you're saying. But this season
has proven nothing. So if you lose to them, you still proven nothing. So until you beat them, we got to stop doing it on paper. Beat them.
Should Arsenal beat Porto? Should Arsenal beat Porto on paper?
I think they should. But if we recall, and I'm using the same mentality I've used. I said the Porto game was going to be rough there. I call that. I mean, I'm being consistent about what I'm saying. I'm not saying you're not because you're being consistent as well. I'm just saying it sometimes feel like I have more hope for your team than you do, which doesn't make me feel good because I shouldn't be rooting for them. You know
why? You know why, Lewis? You know why, Lewis? Because you have never had to be on the other side of a Man City game. You've never had to play against your own team. You've never had to stare down the death robots and chase the death robots down in a 38-game season.
I know we're not going to pretend like Manchester United didn't run over Man City for years, and they had a freaking banner in their stadium talking about how many years City didn't win the league. Are we serious?
I'm talking about you, sir. You, sir, have never had to cheer against Pep Guardiola. You, sir, have never had to cheer against Kevin De Bruyne, against Erling Haaland, against Jackie Grealish and Phil Foden. And you have never had to cheer against this treble-winning side. One of the greatest teams.
And what are you
One of the greatest teams the Premier League has ever seen.
Wayne Rooney, are you serious, right? Sir Alex Ferguson. There's no way you're using that as your thing. And I literally can give you the exact thing in the red machine in Manchester. There's no way that's what you're using. So, yes, I had to cheer that Jose Mourinho ran over the league. What are we talking? Wenger with Arsenal. What are you saying? There's no.
I'm saying that your treble winners could beat all of those teams.
And Man United.
I'm saying that your treble winners are one of the greatest teams ever.
Okay,
and they could beat all of Wenger's teams.
But to say that,
maybe not the Invincibles.
Against them, I didn't cheer against Alex Ferguson, Cristiano Ronaldo, like world-beating guys. Are we serious?
And did any of those teams win 6 and 7? Did any of those teams win 6 leagues in 7 years?
Were those teams not considered the greatest of their era? Because we're skipping around eras because we can't make the Man City team from today be the United team from the past. Because but
what we can do,
and then when City was playing in Champions League and consistently getting put out, who's putting them out? Messi, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. What are you saying? The City has literally been slapped in the face by teams, and I was still rooting for them. And I didn't want them to lose. And then when they went to the final against the Chelsea team that I swear they could have beat, and they lost. So to say
I'm talking about the league.
Man United.
10 years, bro. Last 10 seasons. Last 10 flipping years. You're so spoiled. The last 10 years, bro. The last 10 years, you've just been sitting up there on the high horse, cushy as you can be for 10 years straight.
So you are watching Man United in the same city with a banner of 30, 40 years of City not winning anything. And you're saying that I'm spoiled. Because my team is good now, but they didn't have to deal with crap from United for years.
That's what I said. In the last 10 years, that's what I just said. In the last 10 years, you are spoiled in the last 10 seasons.
But you're saying, I'm not 10 years old. so that history that using, if you're going to cherry pick time periods in history, then sure, you can use that. But the attempt to say I'm spoiled, hey, man, I literally criticize.
How are you not spoiled? How are City fans not spoiled?
Well, first of all, I come on here and criticize them all the time. So
how many trophies have you won in the last 10? How many trophies have you won in the last 2 years?
More than everybody. And you know
exactly.
What? And then in the same conversation, I said, hey, people didn't want none of our players. So there's no spoiled. Don't be mad at the team for putting together a machine. And then for your team to attempt to literally replicate the same thing, that's not spoiled. That means you're doing the same thing. There's nothing spoiled about that. You are 10 years behind it. So, hey, maybe you will be there, but there's nothing spoiled in work. Stop that, man. That sounds crazy.
I'm saying your fans. The fans.
But I'm not the fans. I'm me. I'm literally talking.
So you're a Man City fan? You're not a Manchester City fan.
And so
you're not a fan of Manchester City.
So you are using the comparison that I am like the Manchester City fans. Because if that's what you're using, then I don't have nothing else to say because you are literally clouded by whatever you want to see.
I'm saying you are a Manchester City fan.
We're going to go through history. I gave you facts about Sir Alex Ferguson. Much respect to the guy. For years, he was wiping the floor with y'all. So don't say to me that I'm spoiled.
In the last 10 years,
trouble-winning team. Stop it, man.
In the last 10 years, Lewis, how many flipping trophies do you have in the last 10 years? Did Alex Ferguson win 6 leagues in 7 seasons? Did Alex Ferguson win 4 seasons back to back to back to back to back? You can't tell me that you're not rolling in trophies. How is that not spoiled? How is it not spoiled when literally 70-80% of the team, 80% of the league goes and lays on top of the box at Manchester City at the Etihad? They go and sit there and just let you win 80% of the games. Look at Leicester last season. Leicester let you win. They just didn't even try to play against you. Look, I'm saying you're spoiled because you are expected to win everything, always, every game, all the time.
I'm going to be the voice of reason.
I didn't say they didn't put work in. I said Man City fans are spoiled because they can expect to win every game.
You got the nerve to say I'm spoiled.
They can expect to win every single game.
That's insane, man.
You can expect to win every game, right?
The Chelsea
every single game that Manchester City plays, you can't expect to win. Am I right?
That's insane.
Am I right?
That's insane, man.
Every single game Manchester City plays, you expect to win.
Well, I mean, I want my team to win all the time.
But you expect them to win. You expect them to win.
Well,
every game.
If we're going to talk about me, because somehow you're saying I am like every other City fan, I'm honest on here every time. Patrick said, hey, they're going to score 3 goals every game. I said, no, they're not. Hey, I said, Holland's out of – I'm literally calling people. But so to ask me, do I expect to win every game? No, because I don't expect anything. Nothing. I'm not an expectations guy. It's not what I do. But the spoil thing is just that's confusing to me because I've never heard
Lewis, you're the most unique City fan that's ever existed, and everything about City doesn't apply to you. City fans, apart from you, Lewis, are very spoiled because they can expect to win every single game because you've won 6 leagues in 7 seasons and you're going for record-breaking history. Holland smashed all kinds of Premier League records last season. You win literally everything. You're expected to win literally everything. City fans are the only fans that can look at every single game on the schedule and expect to win. You're not afraid of anyone. You've said that plenty of times. You don't care about what the rest of the league does because you're not worried about any of the other teams. I mean, how is that not like all other fans? All other fans are worried about you. All other fans have to worry about you.
Or you just described focus because everything you just said focus. Why am I worried about the minutia outside of me? The only thing I need to worry about is right in front of me. Why do I care what somebody else's team is doing? If I win the game in front of me, if I prepare and take care of what I'm supposed to do in front of me, the hell with what everybody else is doing.
Well, see, that's
you're the only fan base that thinks like that.
That's not whose fault is that?
You know
the fact that you've won for 10 straight years.
You've seen it. You know that we all joke about it, right? You know, here comes the machine. Here, you know, they're gonna go on a run. You're on a run right now, by the way. Was it 17 unbeaten? Something like
19. They're 19 games unbeaten, and they've won 25 at home. They're 25 unbeaten at home.
Yeah, and I think it's 18 wins and 1 draw, which was us. Woohoo, go Chelsea. But no, my point being though is this: you see a point differential or a point mountain to climb as we're going to climb it, and maybe that's your mentality yourself. But Man City fans will go into every match saying, "If we don't win, this is a disappointment." As a Chelsea fan.
But I've called that out. Have I not called that out?
You have. As a Chelsea fan, I know how that's like. I mentioned it the other night when we were talking about the Champions League. You know, anytime Chelsea has a match against in European competition, I expect to win. Truly. If we lose, if we draw, it's a disappointment. That's where you are now as a club. You've gone from we'll be lucky to win to we could win to we expect to win. So as a result, you've got Arsenal who are playing, I think, a little bit above their heads. I think that because I'm still unsure about Arteta. But I think the talent is kind of protecting some things there. You've got Arsenal who are just blitzing teams. And they know that unless you stumble, it doesn't matter. And there's plenty of evidence to say you're not going to stumble.
So I think I just looked. I did the count from 92 to 2000. Manchester United won 7 and 9. 7 titles in 9 years.
And you were irrelevant at the time, though.
No. But you just said you said who has ever done that, and I literally just gave you a fact. I used United as the case, and Arsenal won one in there, and they were great that year. Respect to Arsenal, and Arsenal were the runners-up every year there from 99 to 99, 2000, 2001, right? But Man United won 1, 2, 3 in a row. Arsenal took one, and then United won before, so they won 4 and 5. So, because you said we never saw this, and that City never had to deal with this, or City was relegated, and City was across town getting their faces kicked in by that team. We know what it's like. Now, are some City fans spoiled? Absolutely. Like I said, I've called them out. So it's not like I don't call it out.
Well, allow me to rephrase then. Lewis. You, sir, have never been the second place team. You've never been the team that year in and year out finishes second and has to chase down the death robot machine.
Always a bridesmaid, never the bride.
You personally don't know what it's like to see Pep Guardiola above you as the standard that everyone's held against.
Well, I mean, he did.
You don't personally know what that's like.
Too.
I'm just saying, man. I'm so. Here's the best way to put it. Arsenal, 7 games on the bounce, 31 goals, absolutely slaying it. Liverpool are winning. They're on top of the league. And they're getting it over the line. It's the Klopp retirement tour. Yeah, woohoo. It's this huge thing. Guess what, bro? You are still favorite. You, Man City, are still favorite. Playing arguably the worst football of the 3 teams at the top. You are still favorites. Your favorites to win at Anfield. Your favorites to beat Arsenal when we come to the Etihad. After all of it, after everything Liverpool's done this season, after as good as Arsenal are playing right now, Man City are still supposed to win this league. You are still favorites.
But why is that?
Because you're the best team in the world. Because you are that good. Because you have built up that expectation with winning and winning and winning and winning and winning and winning.
So they have to do the work, though, right?
They do the work. Of course they do the work. Okay. I'm not discounting their work. I'm not saying y'all cheated or y'all don't deserve to be on top. I'm saying that because you are on top, your fans, not you, but Manchester City fans expect to win every single game. And to me, any fan base that expects to win every single flipping game is spoiled. That is spoiled. I'm not saying spoiled is a bad thing. No, I'm not necessarily being spoiled is a bad thing.
I agree with.
I'm saying that is what it is.
No, I agree with that premise, but I was talking about me, which I invoked me several times because I was talking about me.
Well, you are the most unique football fan I've ever met. I'll tell you that.
Again, the thing is, my thing is, I don't get anything from sort of talking about what Arsenal's doing because I think they're doing fantastic, but I just feel like I'm tribal enough to support a team, but I'm not tribal enough to let you. Like, I mean, we're friends here, man. So I don't want you to be like, hey, man, if we lose this, the season's over. I mean, obviously, I would like to win the league. I'm not going to pretend like I don't want to win the league and the Champions League. But I don't want you to be like, hey, man, well, it's over. Why? Why would you feel that way? Let go one game at a time. I've been preaching that shit forever. That it's just one game at a time, man.
Yeah, I hear that. But that's not
how you do it.
I get it, but it's not up to me. It's not up to me.
Okay, so
and the only evidence we have from my team is that we don't have the mentality to get over the line.
Well, I mean, it's like this. So City, again, all they worry about what's in front of them. Arsenal has to worry about City. They have to worry about Liverpool.
But why do they need to do that?
Because we have to beat you. Because
No,
no matter what we do, we have to win at the Etihad.
I understand that, but here's it. So that's exactly the point. So if Arsenal wins the games in front, and we talked about, didn't you do the thing where you was talking about like the results? You did that before, right?
Yeah.
So if Arsenal wins out, do they win the league?
Yes.
So
and as long as Liverpool drop once, if Liverpool just have, if City beats Pool and Arsenal win out, we win the league.
And so realistically, my point of just win the game in front of you applies, right?
Yeah, of course.
So then who cares about anything else?
Because we're not on top. Because we can't just win out.
In front of you.
We can't just win out. We have to win and then some.
Well, but you can't control what's going on out there. So if you worry, see, that's maybe that's where I am. Because I think, and I don't know if I think Guardiola does this too. You can't control, and he said it in pressers. You can't control what the other teams do. Just win the game in front of you. Because you see crazy results all the time, like Liverpool. Liverpool was absolutely supposed to draw that last game. But we'll get there, right? It was absolutely supposed to draw that. If they draw that game, changes everything. Does the City game play the same if Liverpool draws that game? I don't think so. I don't think that game plays the same.
What do you mean?
I don't know if I think City go after him more. Right? I think it's
y'all went after him. You had more shots than they had possession.
No, I think so for example, if I'm City and I find out Liverpool draws, what does that do if I win? What does that do? I'm top of the league.
Now you're on top of the league.
I'm top of the league. So I'm going to, and now I know, because now I can pay attention to everything. Now I got to batter United because Arsenal has goal difference. They go into that game differently. So that's what I'm saying. Like you just Liverpool have some sketchy ones coming up, man.
So do you.
Well, but the thing is remember what my point was. My point was if you win your games, it doesn't matter about anybody else, right? So I'm looking at who's the only.
Well, I mean, you still have to. So they still have to beat you.
No, I understand it, but I'm saying if Arsenal win what they need to do, and my point was about Liverpool. Liverpool has some sketchy ones coming up because City's not the only one. They have some sketchy ones along the way where if they drop any points, you'd win, right?
Assuming we're perfect, yes.
But if you win the one in front of you, just one game at a time, man. Who's it? Brentford next? Is that right? I think. Yeah,
Brentford at home.
That next league game, Brentford. Just focus on them games, man. I mean, I know as us as sort of post game commentators, that's not what we do, but you know what I'm saying.
That's great, Sarah. We'll let Patrick referee the shouting match. I got a little heated there, didn't it? Yeah. More sketchy than oil. Who's more sketchy than Oil Money? Vitex.
Well, the thing is here's what's so funny about people being mad at Oil Money, right? Is that Oil Money's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Just because 100%. they funnel it in different places don't make it less dirty. Let's stop that.
What does this say?
Y'all need a blue box.
The
sin bin. That's what it is.
You need a blue card. Put self in.
Put yourself in timeout.
Stupid, man.
Oh my goodness, got blue boxed.
I get what you're saying. I feel like for mental well-being as a sports fan, it only benefits me to speak positively to you and be like, hey man, just one game at a time, dude. Just get this Porto one. That's all you're worried about right now.
I hear that, man, but I'm gonna keep going back to my same point. Arsenal don't have the luxury. The Arsenal fans don't have this, because every time you say one game at a time, I'm like, yep, well, there's 20 years behind this one game at a time.
Why?
Because, man, it's been so flipping long.
It's unfair to you to carry the burden, but it's unfair to you. It's unfair to you to carry the burden of your ancestors, man. Just do do it now. Let these players be it, man. Let these players create their thing.
Oh,
I agree,
they're
VTEX.
tempting me.
What's
They're
that? What happened?
tempting
I ain't
me.
read it.
The PGMOL is ruining football. I think money in general is ruining football. But but look, man, it's been so long since we've seen Arsenal lift the Premier League title. And so yeah, when we think of this, when I look at the rest of the season, I can't help it. It's not just the last 18 months. It's not just Mikel Arteta's tenure.
So I have a question for you then.
Yeah.
Do you think Mikel Arteta would make a lot of changes? Let me rephrase that. Would make changes to the squad if y'all ended up winning the league?
I don't think he'd change anything. I think he would.
So either.
I think he would just.
At that point.
I think he would continue to build what he's building. I don't think he would like. There wouldn't be wholesale changes.
I don't think he goes for Tony at that point.
Might as well play FIFA. I definitely think he goes for Tona. See my team play for it.
FIFA.
Yeah.
Who's your team?
Yeah. Who's your team, VTEX? But yeah, I think
No Orange Canaries.
Yeah, the Norwich Canaries.
The more combi shrimp.
The shrimps. The shrimps. Yeah, man. Yeah, dude.
Maybe we should start a GoFundMe. You know?
Oh, he's a Liverpool fan. Oh,
we gotta go to the next segment then. I'm
sorry.
I thought you were cool, bro.
We gotta go to the next segment. I'm sorry. If he's gonna be around, we gotta talk.
Yeah, hey, segues are very, very weird. We'll go ahead and move on.
I wanted to talk about Chelsea, but now I want to talk about Liverpool.
Don't notice the spelling there or anything.
He's spoiled. Oh, so who is this? What's it, Sarah? So Sarah obviously is not a Liverpool supporter.
Sarah, who are you a fan of?
She also didn't like Man U.
Okay.
Yeah, hey, well, we're doing our thing. Arsenal's doing our thing right now. Well, because like I said, no, because he's probably saying that because we're playing the best football at the moment, to be honest with you. But as far as Arteta goes, man, I think he won't. No, I don't think he'll change it. I mean, I've heard rumors. Nice. Sarah's a Luton fan. Yeah. Hey, Sarah, we love Luton Town. We want them to stay in the league for sure.
Yeah, like send Everton or somebody down.
Yeah, we would rather Forest or Everton go down, of course.
I got a buddy who lives over in England. I talk to him every day, and he sent me this article. The article I sent you about Luton. You have to go through the houses. He's a Liverpool supporter, but he told me he's gone down to the Kenny before, and he's like, it's insane, crazy down there.
Oh,
I can't wait to go over. Can't wait. I hope they stay up too.
I would love to see that, to go there. Yeah, absolutely. But I think
even though it's hell to play in, it's pure. In a world of money and everything, that is just pure, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. But on to the Liverpool game.
All right, can we just from now on just give Paul Tierney a jersey that says referee on the back, but it's got the Liverpool badge? At some point.
Yesterday's win was down to poor officiating. We played sloppy and underestimated Force. Arsenal on top every game. Yes, I agree with that. Pool, we're not great away to Forest. But we predicted that. We knew it'd be tough. We knew it would be tough. But I mean, the makeshift lineup.
Bruh.
No Nunes, no Salah.
The extra 15,000 minutes
to start. It was going to be a tough one, and it was. I thought, but I will say this: in the 70th minute or something, I never got excited about Liverpool dropping points. I never thought they would in this game. Even with even when they were lining up to take that last corner kick, I said to myself, man, almost there, but not yet. In the 70th minute, I said to myself, I had this feeling in my gut. I was like, man, this is gross because I know Poole are going to pull this out at the end. I just know that they're going to pull this out. Like I was getting a sick feeling in my stomach because I'm like, man, I'm sitting here letting myself get my hopes up. The same thing I do with City every week because, I saw stats. City have gone down in 13 games and come back to win, or 12 games, something stupid, And so I let myself get my hopes up, and I knew that Poole were going to pull this out. But the way that it happens, I mean, Paul Tierney.
Paul Tierney.
How do you,
bro?
Okay, so the stoppage time thing, I get. I understand the extra stoppage time because in stoppage time, Forrest got booked twice for time wasting, and they add 30 seconds each time. They legit add 30 seconds every time you time waste and get booked for time wasting. Not only do you get the yellow, but they add 30 seconds on. So, and they did that twice. So that's at least another minute. So there's your 9 minutes.
Okay.
So that I have no problem with.
So I'll back up then. So were they time wasting in the first 90?
Of course.
Or was it
they were time wasting 5 minutes into the game.
So why
no atmosphere at the Etihad, VTEX? I don't know, man. There'll be some atmosphere on the 31st, I guarantee.
There'll be 8 fans there at that point. But my point being is, okay, so we punish time wasting late in a game to create more time for other teams to have a chance. Why don't we punish time wasting early in a game to stop that time wasting?
Right, because then they'll get sent off.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I don't think they should do it at all. This comment from Kate Jackson is funny. How are you going to be bitter when Man City has Thor playing on their team? If they lose, it'll cause natural disasters. Yeah, I agree.
We live in the States. Natural disasters are a common thing.
You don't want to anger Thor. He'll call down his lightning on everybody. But yeah, I agree. They should definitely crack down on time wasting. Newcastle.
I mean, if you're going to time waste in the 25th minute, what's the difference between that and time wasting in the 88th minute?
I think it becomes subjective.
Card people starting the 80th minute. What? Why? Because, I mean, any team that has a lead eventually time wastes in some fashion. I go back to the U.S. in CONCACAF. USA goes down a goal in the 70th minute. There's only going to be 5 minutes played in that game that actually has actual soccer being played. It's not like, oh, there's 20 minutes. Like, we're
agreed, Lola
we
Black.
Might see 5 minutes of play because there will be time wasting and this, that, and the other. So what's the difference between that and going up a goal early and then time wasting from the 28th minute to the 90th minute?
Now, Patrick, I agree with you on that. I think you should do it early, but here's the thing that makes it, I think, pauses some of the referees, because if you do it then, I think what people will be like, oh, he's cheating because that's it. They'll call it harsh or something like that if you do it too early.
Because it's subjective.
Then now you have to literally go by the letter before to justify this guy has to get sent off. So I agree, like in sort of in theory, it makes sense to sort of curb it. But at the same time, if you do it too early, depending in the type of game, you've literally influenced the rest of the game. Because say, for example, Arsenal's playing and Odegaard does something where he time wastes in the 20th minute. And Odegaard's not playing. No, better. Declan Rice does it. Well, he's super physical, so his position naturally requires him to have to do some things that he might have to do a tactical foul or whatever. And you give him a yellow at the 20th minute for time wasting. He literally can't play the same way at all for the rest of the game.
You know this happened to us already this season.
No, that's why I switched from Odegaard to
no, it literally happened to Tomiyasu.
I know because we talked about it on here.
It happened to us to Tomiyasu.
Right, and so that's what I'm saying. So people start looking.
Why you gotta go there?
Shots fired.
112 miles. Okay.
VTech shots fired, bro. Flashbacks. Yeah, you don't gotta read. I'm not gonna read that one out.
Oh damn. Damn.
No, but I hear you because Tomiyasu got his
one against Chelsea. I mean that's not too long ago, so maybe you'll remember that
one. But I think with the time wasting thing, Tomiyasu got a yellow. It was the first half for time wasting, for taking too long on the throw in, right? Which was absolutely ridiculous. And then I was so mad at that because of the fact that the second yellow was so super soft. So I mean, your point is spot on. The thing is the time wasting thing though is subjective. The referee
blue card for time wasted.
Well, that was going to be a part of the thing. I mean, Infantino has completely said that's not going to happen. Thank the football gods. But I think the fact that there would be so many arguments over, oh, well, it's not actually time wasting. Oh, he didn't, and then they would have to bring in the damn, oh, well, if he's 6 seconds, then it's time wasting, and then it's it would just be a whole thing.
Well, I mean, the thing is
yeah, that's great. Patrick in his villain because Chelsea's got him in too many midlife crises.
He's trying to get me off of my point. So my point being though, right?
So we said it's
so don't card it right away. Warn them. Yeah. And then if they continue, you card them. They know exactly what they're doing at that point.
Right.
But to wait to put on time because, there's only 10 minutes left in the game so that we can create more game time, that you're influencing the game. You are at that point.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I agree 100%. But it's like it's such a fine line to toe.
I agree.
I think it opens up a huge can of worms.
Blue cards for time wasting.
Too much. It's just more subjectivity for the referees.
Well, I think extra time in general is subjective. I mean, look at what Lewis said. There's no reason. Billion, get it? Billion, not million.
With a B.
They deal in B's, not M's.
Yeah, think about Austin Powers and Dr. Evil when he was in the time thing, and he said $2 million. He's like, what? Billion? I mean billion.
We appreciate that, VTech.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Thanks so much.
You bring the pool here. Keep bringing it.
But seriously, extra time is already subjective anyways. Yes, because like Lewis said, there was no reason for there to be 8 minutes added on to their game. There was not. There was not enough stoppages in that game to add 8 minutes. They're truly, I mean, they'd already added 4 in the first half.
Well, there was also the Neil's head injury. The goalkeeper, they did a concussion.
I'm talking about Man
City. Did a. Oh, you're talking about Man City. Okay.
Yeah, like what Lewis said. But they decided that there needed to be 8 minutes at the end of their game.
Well, it was Onana's head injury.
But it was like for a minute.
It literally was a minute. It was ridiculous.
Okay. I mean, I hear you.
Extra time already is subjective. So,
yeah.
If you're going to say that time wasting is somebody who doesn't.
I'm good. Oh my goodness. Liverpool for Patrick.
On the pod.
On screen.
Any of us even wear that?
No.
I don't think any of us would wear it.
I know. I have a friend who's a Liverpool fan who would wear it, but I would never.
Never. The funny thing, Sarah, is if you go back and look at our podcast at the beginning of the year, I don't rant very often, but I was I couldn't stand the new rules about time. This was the first thing that I'm like, this is stupid. And it's going to, I think I said 10 minutes every game, if I'm not mistaken.
You did.
And they're doing it right now.
Yeah.
They've added, so to add those minutes and after how many games are 26 games, and how many extra games have they played because of that? That's stupid.
Also, though, I will point this out though. The Arsenal Porto game, yes, it's not Premier League, but the Arsenal Porto game, the ball was in play for 51 minutes.
With swords and shields.
So that's the other extreme. So that's the other extreme. That's why this is an issue. That's why this exists.
Oh, Sarah, the poor X.
Oh, if you lose but see, Xavier's so far behind in the predictions. I would love to see Nez at a game. Pure vibes.
Oh man, I'm telling. I got a picture.
Man City vibes.
I'm focused.
But no, seriously. So my thing is the PGMOL is deciding who they want to win games by the way that they continuously change what time is available and what time is not, what is called, what is not. And that's where my issue comes 9 times out of 10. You know, it's like, for instance, I'll even say on the Chelsea side, I think they're lenient on Caicedo. I do.
Yes, they are.
That's fair. That's fair.
They are.
No, I mean, they are truly lenient on Caicedo.
He should have been out the City game.
Hush your mouth.
Tell me the lie. I'm telling.
Liverpool game.
Tell me the lie. I'm
he
telling.
shouldn't have been laying there. That's all I'm going to say.
He shouldn't have been laying there.
Yeah, he shouldn't have dove there. What's he doing? What a disgrace. What's he doing?
I know, right? Get up off the floor from flopping, man. Like, seriously.
You know he shouldn't have been in there.
Oh my goodness.
You know, just like when Rodri got the foul earlier when he kind of choked the guy and he didn't. I was like, hey, that's a red. It was stupid. Because he didn't. Because somebody did it the next week. Am I not right?
And didn't get, and it's happened again. It's happened again, and someone didn't get sent off. Yeah. There's been another instance where somebody, I think it was the Sheffield Wolves game. Somebody did that and they didn't get sent off.
Oh, I didn't answer Sarah's thing because I know y'all did. But Jake X got a shirt for Jake. It's a Ozil jersey. We getting him an Arsenal jersey. It's an Arsenal snot green jersey with the boogers, black booger things on there. And then we're gonna put Ozil on there because that's Jake's favorite Arsenal player ever in life.
So Sarah,
we're not even making him wear something that
Luis
outside.
Suarez
He's wearing his own team, man. His own team.
You're a big Luis Suarez fan? Is that?
I miss when people used to bite each other. So yes, Luis Suarez fan.
and what happens? Oh, and we had a game. Well, no, Jake, you see, we was at the game with Arsenal. I guess I didn't care about this.
Yeah.
When we watched, because I watched the game and I'm just like focused in the game. I don't really, when we watched the DC United Arsenal game, I just focused, right? I mean, I was talking to the beer man. The beer man.
We was talking to the beer man.
I seen the beer man.
Get it right.
It was the MLS All Stars. Yeah.
You know? But no, so I'm not gonna go, too crazy on this. But again, PGMOL is deciding the outcomes of games, whether it's they're lenient on someone and they allows Virgil van Dijk, to get away with murder in the box and not call, a penalty or a red card or whatever it might be. They're lenient on Caicedo because they know, well, we don't have anybody behind him. But
I popped it up.
They're now also finding all this time to say, oh, well, there should be 10 minutes of extra time or 7 minutes of extra time or whatever it might be. And it's like you are adding an additional 11% to the game. That's what you're doing. You're adding 11% of the game. So whatever the result was at 90, we had no issue 3 to 5 minutes. because it was not a huge difference of sort. You're talking about 5-6%, whatever it might be. But now you're saying, I think that there should be 10 more minutes. I think there should be 11 more minutes. There should be 9 more minutes, whatever it might be, because you don't currently like the result that is happening. You want to influence the result itself, And
Yeah.
I mean,
that seems to be the way it is, though. I mean, this seems to be the way it's going.
Yeah,
for real. And that's definitely what the eye test. That's what it looks like on the eye, and then they even go beyond the minimum. I did hear an interesting take, and VTEX, yes, we definitely agree. The Messi FC stuff is just killing.
I have my own rant for that. We will say
killing it. We'll save that for sure. Patrick does have wise words. But I did hear an interesting take that the actual law for when the ref stops the play for a head injury, and then if the ball is in the box, no matter who the possession is, no matter who has possession of the ball, if the ball is in the box and the ref stops the play for a head injury, the ball goes to the defending team's goalkeeper.
That's the rule.
That's what I heard.
What?
I think it's wrong, but I heard that. That's so mean. Wise words, not wise choices.
Listen,
I'm confused, man.
Yeah, he's coming back looking serious because I was probably chatting some BS just now. But I did hear that that's what I'm talking about. What I just said. I did hear that I think that's, I may have misunderstood what they were saying because it doesn't make any sense to me.
I can understand if you say like an indirect, right? Or something like that for the team that had the ball. But I mean, what?
I agree. I totally thought that it should be either Kelleher should have kicked it back to him, or
that's stupid.
The ref should have given the ball back to Forrest because they had possession.
Let me catch up on the chat. What is this? The MLS what?
Oh, he just says he's glad that we support real teams because what's going on
Messi.
That Messi FC makes us cringe.
I'm not even gonna say I was hating. I was saying facts because nothing I said was not supported by evidence. When I was like, Messi didn't deserve the Ballon d'Or. Hey, I respect him, one of the greatest players to ever do it. But stop it. And he played like 6 MLS games. Stop.
Yeah, it's a disgrace for real, and that's why I honestly wanted to give MLS a chance this season. I really did. I had plans on picking a team, following. I was going to be an Austin FC fan because Brian is, and I was going to follow the league. I was going to, try to get into it, try to get some content on it. But Messi FC has turned me off completely of the MLS, has completely turned me off of MLS.
Yeah, hold on. VTech said that, now, VTech, you've missed episodes because Patrick and Xavier are both very, 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 very critical of Pochettino.
Again, yes, they are critical of Poch. That's for sure.
I have a whole rant waiting.
Yeah,
I like to say my airing of grievances.
Yeah. Well, Liverpool get it over the line. Didn't really play well. Maybe had some help, but at the end of the day, it's another 3 points, and they march on. They got a tough game on Thursday in Prague, and then it's back to host the big one.
That's
versus Man City.
So we're doing Chelsea now.
Yes, I'm slowly making the transition. Here it is right here. We have transition. There we go. What do you tell me, Patrick?
Pochettino's an idiot.
There you go, VTEX.
No, okay. Go. So I watched a lot of content this weekend because I was fed up. Truthfully, I was fed up with what I saw.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to get a black shirt and slick my hair so I can be the Pochettino translator because we got to do it.
We got to do it. First off, he was.
Oh my god!
I'm like, bro, no. Let's not even no.
Yeah.
I get that you're trying to hey, this is my team, and we're doing this and we're doing that. And we played 3 games and blah blah blah, whatever. I get it. There's injuries. I get it as well. I'm willing to overlook some of this stuff. But I watched 2 clips. I sent one of them to you, and I watched another one. Pochettino, yeah, exactly.
Hey, I call him Potterchino. So
I know it's Pochettino or Pochettino. That's what it is. Anyway,
yeah.
I tried to like keep him as far away from my head as possible.
It's definitely not good for your mental health.
It's not. But I watched 2 things. One, he wants to play 2 box-to-box midfielders.
Yeah.
And what that does is it allows Caicedo to just get absolutely destroyed in the midfield. I actually feel bad for Caicedo. Yes, he is get who? Which one?
Pochettino.
Pochettino.
Pochettino. Because it could be Caicedo.
I mean, he's absolutely
yeah.
I have no issue saying that. I think a perfect example was when Tony rugby tackled Caicedo with no foul, first off. And I'm like, come on, dude, that is a clear foul.
No, it's payback.
Payback.
There you go.
It's payback.
Sure. Well, who you got in mind? I'm all ears. Tell me who you got in mind. But anyways,
hey, I think Lola is volunteering for the job. Lola for the Chelsea job.
Have you lost at other big clubs? Because that's the requirement right now at Chelsea. You have to be a loser at another big club, and they'll bring you in open arms.
Oh, we're going to talk about that too. So I have my airing of grievances. Exactly, VTech. I guess that's what we're playing now. We're playing rugby and spoil the fans. Okay.
There you go. Is that a shot, Lola? I think that might be a shot.
I think so. But no, I mean, I watch this content and I'm like, okay, yeah. And what I came away with was it's an outdated system that nobody else runs, and it's setting us up to fail consistently.
Are you talking about the 3-5-2 that he randomly threw out?
Not just that. What he was trying to do was, so the way he had it set up, he wanted Enzo playing like a left wing position.
Does he practice these things? Because I swear he doesn't practice them before they go out there.
Like, it made no sense.
Your rotation looked all over the place. The rotation
there's no rhyme or reason to our tactics. There's none. What it feels like is like, okay, we got Jackson, we got Palmer, we got Gallagher, we got Enzo, and then we've got Gusto running forward, and we've got Chilwell running forward, which that's a whole nother thing in itself. And so we're leaving Caicedo to be just like surrounded. No one is coming back to help him. He's having to progress the ball forward, but he's going against, three defenders in the process. And it's like, why do we keep turning the ball over? Because no one's there to receive a pass. Sometimes Palmer will come back. For some reason, Gallagher has decided that he plays up front all the time now. Like, I heard he kicks dogs too, sort of like Kurt Zuma, and all running forward but no running back. Sort of like Kurt Zuma.
Chilwell spits at kids.
Whereas X literally has to be in here because this is literally X's like literally.
Yeah, he'd be freaking out. Let me text him right quick.
But I watch us, and it's like, why do we do the things we do? And it comes down to either A, they don't trust him, which I don't think that's the case. I think they do trust him. Or B, they trust him and he doesn't know what he's doing. And I truly start to think it's because he doesn't know what he's doing.
Jackie Moon. It's Jackie Moon.
Yes.
Yes, he could be Jackie Moon.
Jackie Moon.
He could be Jackie Moon.
Because
Yeah.
it can't be Ted Lasso because Lasso won.
Lasso's the winner.
He also had people, believing in,
Even though I did say when I said Pochettino wasn't that guy, and I called out all his jobs and said he was not really a good manager. We had this was last week or 2 weeks ago. I'm going Jackie Moon specifically because you just need to bring a bear out. If you put a bear on the field,
no, we need to do a lion,
a real lion.
A real lion, exactly.
And let Pochettino wrestle.
Let Pochettino wrestle the lion. VTEX, man, stop coming for Patrick.
Also,
he's had enough. Chelsea are giving him enough.
You're just seeing me this one time, man. Like
the pronunciation of Pochettino goes with the when George W. Bush used to call Saddam Hussein Saddam Hussein.
Saddam.
And because it was an insult.
So now we're comparing Pochettino to Saddam.
Evildoers. But no, so I Jackson still lacks confidence when it's just 1v1. Header was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. Great ball by Gusto. I thought that we had a lot of empty possession because we still just anytime we get in the box, we don't know what to do.
You can totally come for me. I'm flying high. You can totally come for me.
And it's beyond annoying because you're making the kind of money you are, and people talk about youth and whatever. I do think there is some youth still that is going to continue to mature. But the name of the game from the age of 3 until you retire is shoot the freaking ball. We don't do it. We don't do it enough. We don't put a keeper under pressure. Perfect example was we should have had 2 or 3 goals before we went to half. And we didn't. We didn't put enough pressure on them to do that. So they make their changes, which I knew exactly what the change was going to be. And somehow it caught Pochettino off guard that they're just going to keep lumping it forward and put more people up and try to also bully the midfield so that we couldn't get the ball across, the halfway line. And they got the goal. Credit Wissa for the second goal. That was fantastic. First goal, terrible defending by Chelsea. But the second goal wasn't even mad. I was like,
also not great defending, but that was the hell of a finish.
I was like, I should be mad, but I'm not. Cool. That was an awesome goal. I got no issue with
it. Thanks for being here, VTEX. We appreciate you being up at 4 a.m. to watch with us.
Thanks for subscribing. By the
way. Chelsea.
Exactly. Only song we know.
VTEX.
But the thing is I think 3 changes have to be made by Chelsea if they're going to truly move forward, and it's not even on the pitch. Pochettino has to go. Paul Winstanley and the other guy have to go. The directors of football have to go.
I love this, Sarah. We're up against Darwin and his evolution with Liverpool, Jesus with Arsenal having the Lord's hand on things, and Thor with his lightning strikes. Yeah.
We have nothing, and it's okay. It's okay. I just want to gradually move back up.
Palmer. You have cold Palmer.
We do have cold Palmer, and eventually we'll have balloon blowing, in Nkunku if he ever stays healthy. And Victor Osimhen probably.
Oh, Sarah. And they have you, Patrick.
That's nothing. That is absolutely zero.
Hey, that's more than enough, Sarah says. That's we agree.
My thing is this. I see fans change at the drop of a hat. I'm not one of those. This sucks, but hey, the bad times lead to the good times eventually, and that's when you enjoy the good times. That's when you
Lola's gonna.
Hey,
Lola's gonna bring Chelsea back.
I know she is. I'm all for it. I mean, she'd at least know how to play a double pivot, I would think. I mean, that's exactly what Enzo and Caicedo were bought for. Let's play a double pivot.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you something. Poch has been, he chops and changes. I know the injuries have caused lots of personnel changes, but the formation constantly changes. The tactics are different normally. You know, the rotation is different. How to cover the spaces always just seems to be different. If he were to put something into place, Pochettino, that you did every single game, even if you were getting wrecked every single game, would you still be, would you be happier than you are now with knowing what he's trying to do at least, and you can see him sticking to it? Look, the Ange's high line for life can get ripped apart, and it has been ripped apart, but he's going to stick to it no matter what, and people tend to respect that. If Poch was like that,
but it also produces, right? So I understand the point you're making, but I think if he sticks to something and they get battered, then that means either he's dumb or he doesn't know how to change.
We get battered everywhere. My issue with Pochettino is this, right? Okay. It's not even the starting tactics, because I'm like, okay, eventually they'll play into it. It'll be fine. It's after halftime. It is right after halftime. A manager will come out. He will change up what wasn't working, and Pochettino doesn't know how to respond. And he doesn't know how to. Thanks, Lola. You're welcome.
Lola's taking notes for the game plans. Yep.
But Pochettino does not know how to respond. He is not an in-game tactician, because what happens is teams are like, oh, well, we can just go right at them, and we can take away the midfield. I mean, you've seen it consistently.
I have a question then. So, because I look at it like this, for example, every first team manager has a guy, right? They all have a guy that's there that they talk to. Like, you see Guardiola talks to what's the guy's name? The old guy who sits next to him all the time and managed when he was gone. And Pep is like, yo, I can't manage without him. So
they had quite the close embrace on Foden's goal.
No, that's his guy. Like Pep literally is like he has to. But my thing is that if I'm a smart manager and I recognize that they either are not hearing me or I don't know how to make the changes, then why don't I have a guy? Shouldn't you have a guy to help make the changes for you?
Lola's got a guy, and his name is Guy.
He has a guy because
clearly he doesn't have a good guy, because his guy sucks if he's not making the changes.
He's gone with him from Spurs to PSG to Chelsea.
Well, that's why.
Well, there you go. Well, that's been terrible everywhere in all three of
That's not his guy. I'm talking about it.
And now you've got Clear Lake bringing in these set piece specialists or whatever, and they're forcing them upon Pochettino, even though he said he doesn't need more managers. So
it's Jesus Perez. He's been with him since Southampton.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we discussed that the other day. My thing is you either get results or something has to change. And it's consistently been an issue. I mean, we saw it this weekend. Corners, terrible. I mean, I know we technically got one off of a corner, but that was a short corner where we have I mentioned it's creepy?
Yeah.
But we got it on the
They're European. They're Europeans, Sarah.
Well, no, Pochettino's Argentine. He's South
He's
American.
Argentine. Yeah.
Well, they're in Europe.
But no, so I mean, our corners are terrible. Our corner defense and free kick
Why don't you mark the back post?
as Pochettino, because
Why can't y'all manage to mark
Because
anyone
his
on the back post?
His guy is not telling him that. He needs a better guy.
Gusto just gets ran past again.
Yep.
I just, it's shocking. It really is shocking that over and over and over and over, game after game, week after week, y'all aren't marking up on the back post. It's simple
It
stuff.
was literally Brentford's game plan in the first half was to play it to the back post.
I mean, we knew you were going
to in the first half.
Everyone and their grandmother, except for Pochettino, apparently knew that it was long throw in after cross, after corner kick, after set piece, after physicality. Like, we knew what was coming. You know what Arsenal's going to face on? You know what Arsenal's going to face? You know what Arsenal's going to face when we play Brentford? The same thing. The same exact thing. We know this.
He put 3 center backs on to counter their height, and we did nothing to.
And you still didn't win the second balls.
This is where I get frustrated. First off, if you're going to put a third center back on, put Thiago Silva on. He at least can jump. Maybe he can't run well, but he can jump.
Yeah.
I mean, it's mind blowing. I think someone said this on Twitter, and I kind of laughed because it did feel this way. It felt like that the team did not feel comfortable in the tactics, so they kind of did their own thing. And by doing their own thing, come over to the Luton side. Hey,
We're definite Luton fans.
We love Luton. Like,
we're definite Luton fans.
We picked them to win a lot more than probably we should.
Well, that just wasn't nice.
It's great. It's just he did. That's
temporarily.
That's love. That's
temporarily.
Love. But it really did feel like that the team did not feel confident in the tactics, and so they did their own thing. And it almost feels like Pochettino doesn't know what he's doing, and so he's just letting individual efforts get us across the line.
Because he needs a guy.
I think one thing that has plagued Chelsea for a while now, and you could see that Poch didn't really know, or he did not effectively communicate it to the team how to cover the 10 space. Because 2 games ago, you had Mudryk and Madueke trying to cover it. And then this game, it was kind of back to what you normally do, but there was still so much rotation because sometimes Gusto's in the channel and sometimes he's out wide. Sometimes Chili's in the channel and sometimes he's out wide. Sometimes even Jackson floats out wide. There was so much, like, you just never knew where anyone was going to be, and not in a good way, like where Silva and Foden and De Bruyne float around, but in a way where, like, okay, Chilwell, why? What are you doing there? Why are you there?
At one point, our wingbacks were on the same side of the field, right next to each other.
So it just seems like the rotation, there's no set, like if you watch Arsenal and you see them rotate, there was a moment where Ben White got caught so far up the field and we lost the ball, but he immediately fell into the forward position because Havertz was farther back in the field, and they just switched.
Yeah.
For a passage of play, Havertz covered the right back spot, and Ben White was super far forward. And then at the next stoppage of play, they just switched back. They knew what they were doing. Mm-hmm. And when you watch Chelsea try to rotate their positions, it's like, y'all should probably just
I'm surprised they don't run into each other.
Just stay where you're at.
I asked the question earlier. Do they even practice this? I swear they don't practice.
I don't think they do. I don't think they do.
I heard this, and I've been trying to confirm it just looking back at previous things. But supposedly, the day before a match is the most strenuous he puts him through.
Why would you do that?
That seems weird.
It does seem weird. I'm trying to find something to confirm it. But that was one of his downfalls at Spurs is he was training them hard.
You don't know what a walkthrough is?
The day before the match. And that's why they got heavy-legged. And that's why they were struggling to get through 90 minutes. And I think if that's true, that most definitely explains a lot for us too, because our team starts to just die at 70 minutes.
You know what's so funny about that is that when I was in high school, what my coach would do on the day before big games was exactly what we were just saying that Chelsea don't practice. And you know what I'm talking about, where he'll just hold the ball in his hands and he'll walk from spot to spot and he'll be like, all right, now how's the formation supposed to look? Okay, the ball's over here. How are we supposed to shift? How are we supposed to cover space? And we would just walk in our formation and respond to where he's going with the ball. It'll be a real easy practice.
It's a walkthrough.
It's a walk. Yeah. Like, why is that so hard? Just practice your tactics. Practice your tactics before, instead of, running 6 miles or whatever it is they're doing. That, if that's true, like you say, that's.
I haven't been able to find out.
Yeah.
I've been looking for things to kind of see if there's anything that.
You know who would stop him from doing that? If he had a guy. Because the guy would freaking tell him, hey, dude, what are you doing?
You know what they could do? Because I heard somebody say something really crazy today, that they should just bring Graham Potter back because even he wasn't doing this bad. What if they brought Graham Potter back to be the guy and they let Poch and Potter go at it together?
You know what? I want to see that because I want to see how X would react to it, because this would be straight up comedy. I'm watching it. That needs to be live every game. I just want to do a watch along to watch X watch.
Xavier would be so pissed. He'd be so mad. Oh my God.
I will say this.
What?
Hold on. Let's see. This is from
Come back to life.
September. Former Tottenham star Aaron Lennon believes Mauricio Pochettino's notoriously grueling training regiments is behind Chelsea's underwhelming start to this season. But I mean, that's all I can find right now. But what I was going to say is, there has been this push to protect Pochettino by the media in Europe. Do a prank and get Harry did come back to life. There's this push to blame everything on Bowley and crew, and I understand it. They're the owners. They are at blame for some things. And they're blamed for hiring him. But I also think that there's this belief that Pochettino is a great manager, but I'm not seeing it. The only time he looks good is when other teams play us open. But as soon as they either take the lead and sit back, or they're like, oh, well, we can go straight at them, they're not going to be able to handle us. He doesn't know what he's doing.
I'm not even going to call up the tape. Jake, you got the tape. I already called him out. I called him. I said, hey, he wasn't good at Spurs. And he's like, well, and we said Southampton, and I'm like, yeah, he left right before that train because Liverpool's scouting department stole all their players. He was at Spurs and he was mid, and he had the bail money. He had the bail money, and what did they do? And then he went to PSG with Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe, and won nothing.
Yeah, that in itself was and I get
garbage.
I get, personalities and all that.
Nope.
But that is also one of those things to where you still, with those three players,
I'm gonna tell you why.
You win more.
Luis Enrique is not considered to be a good manager.
No.
And he won with them.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Well, here's what it is. At the end of the day, Poch said yes. Poch says yes. He says yes yesterday. He said yes today. He's gonna say yes to tomorrow. Why did Tuchel get fired? He said no. He told Bowley, "You can, that's where you can get out the locker room."
And we already
so Bowley fired him, and now
the Tuchel skirt has been lifted too. He ain't that great either. His skirt got lifted.
Yeah, I mean that's my point. My point is that Poch said yes to Bowley. Poch will say yes to Bowley. Poch will listen to whatever Bowley says. Poch won't buck and upset the apple cart when Bowley says we're going to stick to this 24 and under plan. He's just kind of going.
I think that's BS. I get, but I don't buy that is a legitimate thing.
What do you mean? I mean, is that not what Bowley was looking for? Somebody to just do whatever he said?
No, I'm talking about the 24 and under thing. I think I think that's just media BS.
Yeah, I mean that could be.
Agree, yes, I do think that there is something to that. But I also know that as the sporting directors came in, Bowley already backed off. I mean, the first time he's been to a game since September, I think it was at the Carabao Cup final.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he has really taken a step back. Egbali is more visual and visible than Bowley is. And so I get what you're saying, and I agree that there is some of that to that. But I also think that Bowley and Clear Lake are relying on Winstanley and I can't remember the other guy to save my life right now to get it right. And it's clear that they're not. They're just I get spending money. I was thinking about it, and it's like, okay, what Chelsea went through was literally rebuilding the club pretty much because they lost so many players because they couldn't keep Christensen and Rudiger, and they ended up selling Alonso. And there was 4 or 5 others in that group as well.
Aspilicueta.
Huh?
Well, he retired though, didn't he?
Who?
Aspilicueta. He retired though.
No, he was here till last year.
He retired though, didn't he?
I thought he retired last year though.
I think he went to Spain.
Did he?
But my point being is that Chelsea pretty much had to start over as a club. I mean, just straight up. Either you rely completely on the youth, which there are some who are like, they come through the system, they're going to be great. Cool. There are examples of that, but that doesn't mean they're going to be great now.
Which is why City's buying all those players right now.
So, yeah, exactly. So I have issues with how many players we've bought. I have issues with the money that we spent. It's not my money. I really don't care truly how much we've spent. It's more about the investment in general. Is it a positive investment, or is it a negative investment, or is it just even? I feel like it's an even investment at this point, But I also think that Pochettino made some guarantees to them, because the first thing we heard when he got hired is, we're going to win, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And now we get, press conferences where he's like, well, we're happy with a point against Brentford, and, the boys gave it all, and this, that, and the other. And it's like, no, you told us at the beginning of the season that we're going to challenge for the league, and we're going to get in Europe, and we're going to do this. So did you, as a manager, not understand what you have? Or were you full of it, just like you were full of it to make them consider you as the manager to come on board and actually make this work?
Number 2.
So he fluffed the resume?
Number 2.
He fluffed the resume.
No, number 2. Who said it? What is it? What's the thing with the coach who says, you are what they thought you were? Because We
Yeah.
lifted his skirt long time ago, man. I told you he was washed in trash. And just as an aside, if you look at the thing I sent you, this is exactly what Chelsea fans should go do to the Chelsea team right there. That's what they should do.
Yeah. It's the same thing that one of the Italian a team in Italy did it too,
Hey,
where
man,
the ultras go on the field and
give it to
you
them.
know challenge the players.
Oh, I remember that.
Like the little kid with his sign at the Chelsea game that said he didn't want your shirt, he wants you to play for ours. You posted that, didn't you, Patrick? Where the little kid.
I didn't post that one. I posted.
I think X and I posted it in the chat where he's holding up the sign.
Yeah.
And as Filiquet is at Atletico Madrid, he's injured, but he's at
Atletico. he was sold because he wanted to go back to Spain for a year.
Yeah.
But so to wrap it all up, was I happy we got a point in the end because we were down 2-1? Yes. Was I pissed that we got a point in the end? Yes, I was.
Yeah. As Pochettino should have been, right?
Yeah. Instead, it was his
played
birthday
good.
and he's,
we're
happy with the result. No, we're not happy. No,
he sounds like a participation trophy coach. Sounds like a participation trophy coach. You guys did great.
Well, he did come from Spurs, so that
you guys. Right. Yeah, it's not about the trophies. It's about the friends you make along the way.
Exactly. We're not making many friends these days.
No. But yeah, I think on that note, we have run out of time. I did want to get to the rest of the match week because it was spicy, but yeah, we'll save off here. No, it was a great one. It was a great show for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely an awesome match week on the weekend. We do got some Champions League. I, for one, am excited about that Lazio Bayern game tomorrow to see.
One quick thing, Jake,
see if Kane can get through. Go ahead.
Why is Brighton so impossible to predict? That's all.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The Fulham beat them 3-0. They just got hit on the break, man. I don't know. I don't know what that is. They're the enigma team this season, for sure. And even Wolves, I thought were going to do better at Newcastle, but Newcastle put them to the sword, of course. Yeah, it was definitely a good weekend in the Premier League.
Yeah, it was a fun weekend.
Fun weekend for sure. But yeah,
Saturday or whatever it was. Sunday.
Yeah. Well, I was pissed at the pool result, and then I was pissed at the City result, and so I wasn't exactly happy about the weekend until a few hours ago. But yeah, man, Champions League is gonna be fun. I'm gonna have my eye on all the games. Hopefully, Lazio can do a madness.
Right.
City play Copenhagen. Yep. So
by the way, did you see the menace that Pulisic was to Lazio on Sunday? Or maybe
no, I'll go check those highlights though. I've been enjoying Milan this season.
He got 2 red cards for them. Like he caused them to have 2 red cards.
Oh, so Jamie Tart style.
Jamie Tart style. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, anyway, on that note, if you're as excited about Jamie Tart getting red cards for the other team, let's get the likes up on the video. And, of course, subscribe if you're new. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. We're on our way to 200 to 500 and then that 1,000. Absolutely. Of course, thanks for being here.
Also, come back.
Yes.
This banter back and forth, even though it seemed like I was getting,
you were getting picked on, sir.
But seriously, come back.
They were coming for you. They were coming for you. It's easy to do, but yeah, absolutely. But yeah, on that note, once again, of course, thanks for being here, and you will see us next time.